yet, but I'm not going to try to convince her. I just want her to know that it might be a way forward for her, a way to reach more people, a way to become the influencer in her field, a way to be recognized as someone associated with other influencers in her field. What do you say?
Well, it is in the works. It is an idea, you know. I'm just in the process of fully wanting to go actually have the opportunity to be on other people's stages before I take my own.
All right, I understand that. So, other people's stages. What stages are you looking for? What kind of audience do you want to get in front of?
I'm wanting to actually leaders. Leaders are those that see themselves as leaders, which is pretty much anybody. Anybody who feels as though that they have the opportunity to influence change. Those are the people that I want to talk to.
All right. So, so far, where have you found the leaders that you want to get in front of or talk to?
Well, there's been a lot of different, definitely networking groups, um, but there's you never know where it is that you're going to find a stage, and so you know, you could be talking to the person next door, and hey, I know somebody that knows somebody. I was just in a networking focus group yesterday where they're starting up kind of a group where they're going to be teaching people how to network. That it's not a skill that we're actually ever taught, and
I
how do you
actually
make
went
that
through one of
effective?
those. Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it is a great skill to have. I did not know it, but now that I have it, I love it. I think it's great to have.
Mm, yeah,
So I've heard being on more stages gets you to be on more stages.
absolutely.
So I've met you at Speakers Playhouse.
Yes, yes,
Um, have you been on many stages since then? I think it was like maybe was it beginning of August or July?
yeah, yeah. I've actually been on two stages since then. Yay! Yes, and so those have been great experiences, and I've learned a lot both about myself and what it takes to get prepared for that. You know, both with the technology, because technology adds a whole new round to things. Which is something that I've been dealing with for about the last 18 months when I did my first Facebook Live. And I ended up in that room that you end up, it's almost like a room. And I didn't realize you're in there by yourself. I was so used to being on Zoom and you can see everybody, and then all of a sudden you're there by yourself, right? Yeah, you can kind of see the comments kind of popping up, and let me tell you, it was like the worst experience. I actually offered a gift, right? It was for a giveaway, and I bombed it so bad that they didn't even accept the gift.
Oh, what was the gift?
Was actually one of my courses.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I offered her the whole course, a $2,000 course for free, and I did so bad with my presentation, she didn't even accept it. So
oh,
there is hope for all. Okay, just keep getting back up there. That is
yeah.
the key. Just keep
Well,
getting back up.
yes. Keep
Yeah,
moving forward is
that's right.
my motto. So
Mhm.
I want to let you know that you don't have to do Facebook Lives alone. If you want to do Facebook Lives with Zoom, you go to the more section of your Zoom and
Okay.
it says Facebook Live. You can
Okay.
also choose YouTube. If you like I'm using right now, I'm using OneStream Live. I take the RTMP, I put it in here, and I'm streaming to 10 channels right now.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be by yourself if you don't want to.
No.
If you
No.
want to be with an audience, if an audience gives you energy, go live using the more button in Zoom. Okay.
Awesome to know.
But I don't want to deter you, but I am glad you did another one after that. How did your second live stream go?
The next one went much better. I was a
Yay.
lot more comfortable with it, going, okay, I'm here, and I know that people are listening. If they're not listening now, they will listen later. And I took the time to actually get everything. I was a lot more familiar, and I think that's one of the keys to being comfortable with speaking is getting comfortable with the technology. My last summit was actually just over a week ago, and
Ooh.
I I took the stage. It was not on Zoom, and I knew I
Okay, I
was
gotta
going to
stop you. What platform did you use?
Oh, I can't remember. Can't remember. Oh, it'll come to me. Anyway,
Yes. Okay.
so I went off. There was another speaker that was also there. We went off in our own little room and we practiced putting up our slides right up on the screen. We did it each like 3 times. And she ends up, she says, oh, yes, I see it perfectly. Because you can see it, right?
Mhm.
It's already up there. You can see it. So I get up there and I start, going through my presentation. I can see my slides. I put them up there, same as I did in the room, but in this platform, and unfortunately it's still not coming to me, there's an extra button that you have to push in order to put it up there when you're on stage. It's different
Oh.
than when you're in the room. So here I was talking away, thinking everybody can see my slides, and yet, I finished off my talk like 3 minutes early, which is always a nice thing because it gives a little bit of extra time for questions, and yet I said, okay, so we've got an extra few minutes here. I'm just going to take my slides off, and I'll take the questions. You see, the thing is, nobody knew. Nobody knew that I had slides, but I did. And by my saying, I'm going to take the slides off, it's like everybody's now got that, well, where were the slides? I didn't see any slides. And it seems like lately that seems to be the crux because the summit before that, I had given the slides to someone else to put them up and to go through them as I did my talk. I started my talk, there's no slides, then they're not, like, she's not putting them up. And it's like, okay, remember in drama class when we did improv? Just go with the information. This is not the time to stop and say, you didn't do my slide. Where's my slides? I can't go on. So I just kept on going and nobody knew the difference.
Wow.
So you have to realize, like I've come to realize that, you know, they don't know what you know. If
That's
if
true.
it's not there, hey, just go with it, you know? Yeah,
I one day I had hosted my mastermind live. I invited people to do trainings, and I swear to you, every last person in that mastermind group was brilliant,
yeah,
amazingly brilliant. But I was using a program. I was using Be Live. I've used it. This was going to be my fourth time using it. I did not hit start twice. Therefore, no one saw it. If you weren't in the room with us, no one knew what was going on.
yeah,
My heart hurt. I was so disappointed in myself. I was like, how can I do this 4 times and not know or remember that I need to hit start twice?
yeah. Well,
But things happen. But
yes,
I want to let you know, if you do give someone your slides, they are your backup. You use your slides also. Make sure that you have sharing capabilities or host capabilities. And if you give your slides to someone else, they have host or the ability to share their screen. If they decide, I don't want to help Pamela anymore, you still have control over it.
yeah.
People get easily distracted sometimes. Sometimes they say they help, but they go off and start watching a Netflix show and they forget what time it is.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, it ended up afterwards, after I finished, she started showing the slides for the next speaker.
Oh. Did
Uh-huh.
she get you mixed up with the other speaker?
Sorry?
Did she get you mixed up with the other speaker?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
So fortunately, because I we'd had a little bit of a powwow beforehand. I got her text information. I got everybody's text information so that I could then just very quickly, hey, those are the wrong slides. Just let her know that this is gonna throw people off. You know, because it's
Well,
not
that was
lining
really
up with
nice
what.
and helpful of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the person sharing the slides, that job is called a stream producer. And yeah, you definitely want to get on the same page with your stream producer. That would hurt my feelings. I probably would be the one not going with the flow and saying, hey, those aren't my slides.
Yeah.
But so you hosted your first event. What was that event about?
Um, that was um, along the lines of purpose and how it is to have like a balance to help you to achieve and keep in focus with your balance, or rather with your purpose. So, um, so we're actually doing another one that's coming up here in October, and so I'll do a little bit of a plug that
Okay.
that's coming up here, and what I'll be talking about there is the the subconscious of communication. So using how our mind plays, our subconscious mind plays into our everyday communication with people. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah,
Sounds nice.
yeah.
Before I made my pivot, I had a business of it was called Subconscious Self, and I was trying to help freelance graphic designers move from the mindset of freelancer and onto the mindset of business owner. Turns out, no, not everyone wants to be a business owner. Some people are happy not paying taxes and getting business loans and all of that good stuff.
Yes, it is. It is definitely a pivot, a change in mindset to from owning your own business to working for someone else. And definitely when you own your own business, there's so many things that you need to be on top of, and all of the time. And especially until your business gets to a point where you can start taking off some of those hats and passing them on. The thing is that even though you pass on that hat, you're still going to need to be leading those people in knowing how to do what it is that you're wanting them to do. You're still going to have to lead that, and have it that if they have questions, they can come to you. And if you've never done that, I don't know what to tell you. Go
Yeah,
figure it out, right? That's what I hired you for.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So, so how did in your opinion, how did your first summit go?
I think it went quite well. We did also have some technological issues because they had set things up through Eventbrite, and there were people that were registered, but they couldn't seem to get into the meeting.
Oh,
So yeah, which can happen, which was unfortunate, but it also was a learning experience. I think we all too often forget that every experience is a learning experience. So
that's
take the
true.
lesson and keep asking yourself, what is it that I get to learn from this? What can I learn from this? And even take one small thing that you can learn from that experience, especially when you're feeling stuck. When you're feeling stuck, that's when you definitely need to be asking that question. What do I need to learn from this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe that I am a big fan of awareness and awareness of self. So if something didn't go my way, I like to stop and think, what's 5 things that I need to know from this to find out why I'm feeling this way. So, and I'll come up with a list of 5 things that I could take away that I can do or not do or look out for next time. And so far, so good. That really helps. And it really helps when you host an event and you write those things down.
Yeah, well, I think it's also important when you're working with people, not just to do that with yourself, but also, after an event, to say, okay, what could we do better for the next event? What can we improve on? What were the learnings that other people had? When
Yeah.
we're working with other people, we need to, I think it's really valuable to also find out from them what their lessons were, and successful. Like I've done project management, and at the when you wrap up the project, everything is all done and delivered, signed, sealed, and delivered. Hey, there's one thing less, last thing that we need to do, and that is to basically capture everything that we learned on this project so that we can take it forward into the next project so that we don't keep repeating things that didn't work quite well. How can
Yeah.
we improve on it?
Yeah. So I do the awareness for me, and that is for my own awareness. But when it comes time to do the team's debrief of the event, I want everyone to put it out there, even with the after event or during event survey. Before it gets started, I want to get the intention of the event. I want to have them come away with something, and I want to give them a feeling that, hey, I remember being on an event with Erica talking about leadership, whatever. So, yeah. So, what platform did you use for your first event?
It was Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Eventbrite, Zoom. For your second event, did you do the same thing?
No, that was the different. That was that other one. It was. Oh, it's still escaping me. Maybe it's because it's like, don't even think about it. Just move on from it. No. No,
Understand that.
I can go back to the event host and find out who it was, like which one we were using, and afterwards we talked and had said, well, okay, so for the next coming up conference 21, it's going to be in a couple of months here, and he's actually talking about holding it every month, really, so that it becomes like a full networking event,
Yes.
and and
I
so
am a fan of that.
yeah, and the way that Michael's going to be organizing it and setting it up is so that everybody gets the opportunity to speak at every meeting. So
I
that's
like that.
and having it that we're meeting once a month, so it gives you more exposure, more opportunity to take the stage, and so we were debriefing afterwards, and he was saying, okay, so maybe it which platform did people prefer? You know, did he? And I think he's used that platform once, and he's used Zoom once, so to get that feedback from people, you know, he's finding that he prefers Zoom, and so do a lot of other people. Zoom seems
Okay.
to be really intuitive in how you use it, but there's all kinds of platforms that are coming up now for
Yes.
conferencing and
Yes.
meeting. Yeah.
I'll say if you want control, go with Zoom. But for networking, and if as an attendee point of view, I love AirMeet because nobody tells me what to do, and I'm free to move about the cabin.
Yeah, which I think is great, especially in Zoom where I can't really, you can kind of send a message to people, but it's really challenging because if there's so many people in that space, they're also sending those messages in that meeting, it'll get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Zoom, when you go to the private messages, you can search for a name,
Yeah.
or as the host, you can turn that off. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to let people chat if you don't want to.
Yeah.
If you did, I would suggest going back through that whole chat to see were people actually paying attention, or they having their own little event in the chat, because that happens.
Yes.
I would suggest having your stream producer monitor the chat to try to steer people back to the conversation, what's on screen at hand. So your networking event, is that the one that's coming up in October?
No, no,
Oh, okay.
that is the one where I'm talking about the communication of our subconscious and how we subconsciously communicate to people. A lot of the information that we're taking in is subconscious. It's on a subconscious level. It's like we have this back office in the back, like that. We're not aware of it, but it's still working for us. It's taking in information, and so that's what I'm helping people to learn is how to harness that. When you think about um, how often it is that we do things that we're not even aware that we're actually doing it. I mean, we,
Yeah.
we have an awareness. When you get into your car and you drive, do you think about driving? Do you think
Nope.
about turning that signal light on or pressing the brake? Or no, it's become automatic.
Yeah.
You've done it so many times that it's become subconscious. Well, how often is it that we're actually having conversations that are subconscious? Because we get into that daily exchange with people, and all of a sudden realize, you know what, we had this exact same conversation yesterday.
Yeah, it's like, how are you doing? Fine.
Yeah, yeah. And
How's your
so
day?
then
Good.
are we really actually listening to what they're saying, or
Yeah.
or is it so automatic in our conversations that we didn't really listen to what it was that they were saying? And the other part of what I'll get into then is the aspect of how we ask questions. The
Yeah.
questions that we ask people, are they leading questions so that we get the answers we really want?
Oh. I was gonna say maybe I just demonstrated that because I just got your second summit mixed up with your the next one that's coming up in October.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm hoping to be able that is not a problem that is hard to that even needs to be solved, because I'm hoping to be having my goal is to actually have it that I'm having a stage minimum once a week, if not 3 to 4 times a week.
So you're gonna have like a live stream show after your
Uh,
event?
what I'm thinking of, I'm actually been thinking of having because what I'm hoping is to develop and help leaders to build resilience. So I'm actually putting together, it's in the creation stages, is um, is having people be able to come and talk about their times when they've had to, develop that and harness that resilience, and how did they do it? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Understand.
yeah. I think right now, uh, a lot of people are talking about resilience, and I started even thinking about resilience like 2 years ago, before COVID even came about. You know, I just had this, I don't know, somewhere I was just feeling like, there's a storm coming, and we need to get ready for it. And, being that I've worked in emergency management for companies, it was like, okay, maybe that's why this is on my mind. And, but it there's more things that come into our lives that we need to have that resilience. And so I'm actually in the process of, because I've been researching, how do you build resilience in your
I
life?
was just about to ask you, what are you saying resilience is?
Resilience, I believe, is having it that you have an inner strength that gives you the ability to stay focused, that even though, let's say, your life is a building, the building of your life has a huge storm. Think about a storm, a hurricane that is so strong that it actually is blowing your building and weaving it back and forth. And you're basically grabbing a hold of whatever it is you can grab a hold of, because you're not on the bottom floor. You can feel it weaving and you're being tossed to and fro. The ability, that resilience, is the ability to find that inner strength, because you are so you have so much of an understanding of what your purpose is, that it becomes an integral whole part of you, that it gives you that strength to tell the pillars of your life to stand strong. Stand strong. And so then it doesn't matter what those winds, those storms of your life do. You have that inner strength that gives you that ability to stay there and stand strong where you are.
I like that.
Yeah, but there's another way of looking at resilience, and that is, it's all in how you bounce. you know, so I'm actually in the process of writing 3 books on the toolboxes. There's the simple toolbox to build resilience. Then there's the scientific toolbox to build resilience. And then there's the spiritual toolbox to build resilience. And these will all be coming out within the year.
I like it's all in how you bounce. I can see that as a book cover and a t-shirt, maybe even a
Mm-hmm.
bracelet. So
Yep.
yeah. Can that be somewhere like a subtitle somewhere for any of those? Because I'm a
Well,
fan of that.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we could do that. Although, I don't know. I kind of, like to share the little tools that I've come across. I've been uh, blessed with the opportunity to work with some of the some PhDs and scientists from around the world, sharing with me what their research has shown them in the area of the brain and the mind sciences, that I can now incorporate into how to build resilience. So I kind of liken it more, not necessarily that we can do away with the bounce, right? Because maybe that's where the jackhammer comes in, right? But the ability to say, oh, my son, he's a mechanic, and I was kidding with him not long ago about how his retirement is actually all invested in his shop. You know, rather than putting money aside for his retirement, he's investing it into his hobby that he will do when he's retired. You know,
Oh,
so
okay.
the thing is, we need to have the tools that help us to have that resilience. I don't think it's something that is. There are definitely people who are resilient, but I think it's because of the fact that they've exercised it and they've learned how to use those tools.
Okay. So, with your summit, you're using Zoom. Are you um and you're not going to use Eventbrite anymore?
Unless somebody else wants to use it.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn events over Eventbrite. I love that the fact that I can ask 600 people a day to join my event and have their names and emails, and I can invite my speakers to invite 600 of their connections a day of
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you're a fan of LinkedIn events, but I definitely recommend it.
Yes. Yes. I love LinkedIn. I think it's an
Hooray!
awesome site, you know, um, that allows you the ability to, if anything, because all too often when we're working for a company and that's the email that you give out to people, well, what if I'm not saying that we're all transient, but we are, okay? you know, well, if you don't have that email anymore or you're not with that company anymore, how do I find you?
Yep,
LinkedIn gives me the ability to be able to find you again if
yep.
you move on. And it is, uh, it's a tool that I think everybody needs to have. If you're in business, definitely you have to be on LinkedIn.
I definitely
Yeah.
agree. I'm not sure if you're aware of how I set it up, but I would like to give you some tips of how a good LinkedIn page would be for an event.
Okay.
It all starts with your personal page.
Hmm.
For your headline, you should have the name and date of your event. In your the part that says your name, where you introduce yourself, invite them to that event. In your about section, the first line that people will see, have a link to that event and tell them that they're invited. Um, in your first part of the feature section, have like a poster of that event and let them know that they're invited. And then you go to your event page. You do the same thing. I would recommend that you would go to the search bar, type in what your event is about, go to events, find some that are similar, and connect with those people. It's like, hey, I saw that we're interested in the same thing. Just wanted to connect. They'll check out your profile and see that you're having this event. That I just wanted to share that with you, just in case.
You make it sound so easy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
if you have things set up, I'm a big fan of automation, but if you have things set up, um, things will flow in
Hmm.
a direction that you want it to because you have it set up that way.
Yeah.
So, your event, how many speakers are you going to have, or are you going to have any speakers at all?
Oh, well, yes. I'm actually planning a summit. I've been thinking about the, the Build a Resilience Summit and looking for speakers for that summit, um, that have, that have the some background with resilience, because resilience is quite a broad, you know, it encompasses a lot of areas of our lives, right? Because you can have, uh, you know, all the mental resilience you want. However, you know, I think that we have to get beyond just what's in our minds, because we live in a physical world. So are we mentally, physically, spiritually, all the parts of our lives, socially resilient, because we don't live in a bubble in isolation, right? So do we have a good, do we have a life that encompasses, you know, a network of people that are when we have a need, oh, I know who I can talk to, you know. I know a guy who knows a guy, right? Yeah. And so, but, even financially, I used to work in the financial industry, and having it that, you know, what does your financial house look like? Is it like the Three Little Pigs and it's built of straw? Or is it like the third little pig who built it in such a way that the wolf could not blow it down? Resilience touches on so many different parts of our lives.
Like that. So, how many speakers were you intending on having to reach all
Uh,
of those? categories?
Well, I think probably about 6. I'm thinking, just like maybe a mini summit, like 1 day summit as my first summit would be ideal, you know,
Okay. How long would each speaker have to speak? Like
maybe
15,
40.
30,
Hmm.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
I was just throwing out numbers.
Well, we're about the same, 40, 45 minutes, to give people, because realizing that people really actually we have such short attention spans now that, you know, to have it that, and not only that, but also, being that sitting is the new smoking, to have it that there's the opportunity for people to get up and move around. And because what it does is it re-engages your brain. You get up, you take that bio break, go get some lunch, go get some water, and there is a gal, her name is Val Toth, uh, who she has combined um, drumming with music and with exercise. And so I've seen her at a few events where she comes in and she actually gets people up and moving around. And there's another friend of mine that he he is he is the king of play. And so we're definitely going to have Robert come and play with us, because as adults we need to maintain that creativity. It helps us to have creative ideas when we're doing things that are creative and play. We did that as children, and why is it, who says that just because you're 18, you're an adult, you're adulting, you can't play anymore? We have to keep playing in all the areas of our lives, is to keep that play alive. So definitely going to have Robert to come and play with us, and help and keep us engaged in that aspect of play.
All right. So, your event is going to be live or pre-recorded?
Uh, Maybe a mixture of both.
Okay. Will your speakers have presentations, slides?
Oh yes. Oh
Okay.
yes. Oh yes. I think that way, you know, people that are visual, or that, you know, or as opposed to those that are auditory learners. My husband, he was an auditory learner. And so he really, he could learn so much, and he heard so much. There was times where there was this one speaker that we were at church, and they would talk for about 45 minutes, and he would say, I wish he would quit smacking. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's smacking. I'm like, I don't hear it. But then once he mentioned it, yes, I kept hearing it. And why was he smacking? He was smacking because his mouth was dry. So, that aspect of having a live, I think, is awesome, because you never know what it is that will actually come out of doing things live. You know, things
Yeah.
that, hey, I never thought about that, but then all of a sudden these magic words just pop out of your mouth, just because you're in the flow of what you're doing. And
Yeah.
yet, to have it that it's pre-recorded, that you've already got something pre-recorded just in case, that speaker can't show up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Having the
Understand.
ability to say, that's okay, no problem, then you're not searching for a speaker last minute. Yeah.
Understand.
you know, yeah, I'm sure that those that do summits on a regular basis, it's kind of like finding a babysitter. You know, you better have a long list of babysitters. And so,
Understand. Around
yeah,
here, we call it herding cats
yep,
for rounding up speakers.
mm-hmm, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when your speaker all of a sudden gets stage fright. I don't think I can do this.
Well, that you got your speakers. You're gonna have 6. It's gonna be held on Zoom. You're gonna use LinkedIn events for your landing page. Were you gonna have any sponsors?
Well, we're looking for sponsors. So,
Okay.
yeah,
What are you doing to pick up sponsors?
well, that we're basically have not started that yet because it's been in the planning process. Then we'll go look for our sponsors. So, if there's anybody listening right now, we might
Yeah.
as well pitch that out there right now.
What are you offering for your sponsors? Even though I know you're just playing it, but what do the sponsors get for being a part of your event?
I would offer them a rev share.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Are you also offering affiliate links for
yes,
your speakers or attendees?
yes, yes,
Very
as
nice.
well as also a giveaway.
Okay.
Yeah,
May I ask how much is the affiliate link? What's the percentage?
45%.
Very nice. I like to tell people 50 to 100, but that is still very nice.
Hmm. Yeah,
So because I don't want you to make your money from your ticket sales, because most people don't make money from ticket sales. They make their money from their upsells.
yep.
So as long as you got a good upsell, 6,000 hopefully and up,
Hmm.
you're good. You don't need that ticket money.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and so
I'm very
being
proud
that,
of you.
yeah, well, I'm in the process of working on my high end mastermind. So that's why we're kind of holding off until the spring to
Okay.
unveil it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we just got like a sneak peek of that, but yay for us.
Yes.
So what day in October is your summit or
Hmm.
event?
That is a good question. You'd think that would be right on the tip of my tongue, but it's not. It's not, unfortunately. I think it is. I think it is the third weekend of October.
Okay. Okay, I got my calendar
It
here. Third
is.
weekend. Like October 16th. Is it on a Saturday?
Um, let me see here. You'd think it would just be like right at the tip of my tongue or the top of my brain. And it is
No. You can always come back
Friday the
to it later.
22nd. The
Oh, okay.
22nd through the 24th. It's the Heart's Desire Summit.
Oh, okay. All right. So if you share that link with us, I'll put it in on all the platforms that we stream to, and it'll go out in the email
Okay?
for this talk.
Okay? Sounds good.
Hooray.
Okay.
So you want to do it monthly. Is this summit going to be monthly, or is your leadership going to be monthly or
This
weekly?
isn't my summit. This is someone
Oh,
else's summit.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think she probably is doing it about every 3 months.
Okay.
The summit. Yeah. Yeah. Because we did a trial run, like we did this one. Um, what, 2 months ago? So we're doing this one in October.
I
Yeah.
like every 3 months as a minimum if you're not going to do one monthly.
Mhm.
I love the idea of like every quarter.
Yep.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, I like as well. I think it fits well with with my courses because my courses are 6 weeks. Plus, there's
mhm.
an additional mentoring portion of things. So every 3 months works well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is very good because you can like advertise for your courses and spend time with your students in your course and
yeah.
then go back out and advertise again with another event.
Yeah, and I think that enables the ability to keep that work-life balance, that balance in your business, so that your business isn't running you; it's you
Hmm.
running your business, and it gives that opportunity to kind of have, you know, kind of where you're taking a little bit of time for yourself, call it a vacation, where you step back and rejuvenate, because I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest. Yes, is very important.
Mhm. Yeah.
But summits can be fun, but they can be very tiring also.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And so I like the idea of having it every 3 months so that it gives you that time to be really creative about it and put things together with for it, as opposed to every month you're trying to find speakers, you're trying to find content, you're trying to find, and it's every month
Yep.
having
Well,
it.
it is doable.
Hmm.
I run a weekly live show.
Yes.
Um, I guess I need to get back on it, but I am booked till October 14th. But what I do is I hang out in groups. I ask my phone, where does my target audience hang out? I join those groups. I type in the search bar what I do. I find posts that have comments of 50 or more because if it has 50 or more, when I type in my 2 cents, everyone in that post will get notified. I try to post comment on post at least 5 times a day or 5 posts a day in those groups. And I meet people, like you said, it is networking. And
Hmm.
when I meet and talk to my target audience, they then become people I want to have on the show. And like I met you at a Speakers Playhouse.
Yeah.
Very good for filling your calendar for live events.
Hmm.
Some
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah,
Kimberly was my inspiration.
yeah.
2 years ago I was at her entrepreneurs rocket fuel at her summit, and I watched. It was actually the first summit that I'd ever actually seen, and I was like, so impressed by what she said. With, don't wait until you're perfect and polished. Don't wait until you have the perfect iPhone and the perfect this and the perfect that. If this really and truly is your purpose, then get out there and pick up the mic. Just
Yeah,
pick it up.
yeah.
And she is an inspiration on doing that because you know, I I think she kind of fights for the mic actually, which is
My
an
favorite,
inspiration for us all.
yes.
Because all too often, so many people, it surprises me, not really, that a lot of people they fear public speaking more than they do death, more than they do anything else. Is that speaking in public? But yet, you know what? Uh, when you're speaking in front of more than 5 people, you're public speaking. And I'm going
True.
to give everybody some hope here because when I spoke to you last night, I started thinking back on, you know, okay, public speaking and what my journey has been in starting to speak. It all of a sudden flashed back that little girl. I remember being in grade 4 and we learned French.
Ooh.
Grade 4 here. Yes. And the way that they would do it is they would have everybody go through the room and they would say the phrase and they would record it on this reel to reel, and I'm dating myself here, this reel to reel tape recorder. And I remember that whenever we'd get to my voice, to my turn, I would actually hide under my desk. I mean, everybody's already heard me say it, but hearing my voice on the tape recorder, and that would be my biggest fear, is to have people hear me recorded. So if I can get past being that 4-year-old who would hide under her desk because people are going to hear her talk, right? Then you can get up and you can take the mic.
Yes. My favorite Kimberly Crow saying is, if you have an opportunity to speak, take the mic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Pamela, thank you for being a part of the show. Oh, you have something to offer the viewers.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because all too often, a lot of times, what's holding us back is that opportunity to practice and to even get just a little bit of feedback before I get up there and I actually have to talk about what I want to talk about. So I've created a Facebook group called Practice Your Purpose. And so I'm wanting to share it with everyone, because a lot of times if we know that it's a safe space where we're going to be able to have it, that I can practice this in front of other people and just get rid of all those little jitters, then I want for people to come and practice with me. So I'm going to put my link for this group in the chat.
Okay. And I will repost it to all the places that we are streaming to.
Okay.
Thank you
Sounds
for
good.
that. I am copying it now. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing your time, your knowledge with us.
Yeah.
I look forward to learning about your event that you're going to produce. Come back and let us know how it went. Are you a member of Coaches Host Engaging and Profitable Virtual Summits?
No, I've never even heard of that.
Oh, well, that's our Facebook group for people who have and want to host virtual events.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I will post this link in that group and my personal Facebook page, my company page,
Okay.
YouTube, D Live, all the places that we're streaming to, and let people know about your group.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much. I
all
appreciate the
right.
opportunity to come and speak with you today. This has been so fun.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Uh, well, have a good day.